Howdy everyone on YouTube. Thanks for tuning into the Movo TX Gear Review channel today. So I tried to do this video up on the Gear Review hilltop, like you saw me do a couple of my other reviews, and it was actually too hot and too sunny up there to do it. My camera was overheating, had overheat issues, and I'm not exactly sure why, but nonetheless. Okay, so I'm back down here at Tully Campground, and it's nice and cool. We're in the shade. And I think this is a better location here for my camera. So, in this review, we're going to take a close look at my Cold Steel SR1. So this is the folding knife that I've been using for the past 6 or 7 months. I am a purchasing consumer, Amazon.com, $135. And I've got it here amongst my other knives simply because I use all three of these very interchangeably, depending on where I'm going, what I'm doing, and all that jazz. So for a while I was very happily using a Mora, but the problem here with these fixed blade knives, Mora, Schrade, is I can't conceal carry them in California, at least not legally. So I'm always having to open carry them, and that wasn't really working out for me all the time, simply because, you know, there are times when you just need to put your pocket knife in your pocket. And that was happening kind of more and more, actually. So that brought me to this. Okay, so I've been using this knife pretty regularly, EDCing it very comfortably. It is bulky and it is heavy. And along with that bulk and weight comes a lot of capability. Okay, so you're seeing it here well used. I've split wood with it, batoned wood with it, pencils, taken baseball bats down to pencil size twigs, and feather sticking, of course, too. You're actually seeing the spine of the knife kind of beat up a bit here because the baton I was using once actually had some rocks or some gravel or something embedded in the bark, and that's kind of what these markings are. And actually all my knives have kind of the same thing. So anyways, it is what it is. As a user and a beater, you know, that's going to happen. These are not shelf queens or anything like that. So let's see, the steel is CPM S35VN. Okay, so it's a considerable step up from, you know, a lot of other, you know, more affordable knives. It holds an edge very, very well. I'm able to sharpen it very easily with ceramic rods, and I have no complaints with that at all. So I'll post weight specs down below, but it's about a 4-inch blade. The handle is fairly big, fairly robust. G10 handle scales, partially lined. Okay, so not even a skeletonized liner. So the liner only encapsulates the stop pin, the lock bar pivot, and this anchor screw back here. So everything else is held in with this backspacer and solidified with this backspacer here in between. But the actual liners are none, basically. So it's purely G10 here, beyond, again, this reinforcement point here around the pivots and the critical points. So not much needs to be said about the Andrew Denko triad lock. At first it was a little bit rough and a little bit coarse, and it took some a little bit of lube and some just use, day-to-day use, to get it to loosen up. But as you can see, it's very, very smooth, and I have no problems. I don't even need to use the thumb stud. Okay, it's very easy to simply pop out, and the knife blade is so heavy it just swings out pretty easily. Okay, so it's got an aggressive finger choil position, a little bit of jimping here. It's not really the grippiest surface, but still, nonetheless, it's good enough. There's a choke up position here, okay, for fine carving and fine task duties. Okay, so it's a clip point design, and this is my first clip point, so I like it a lot, really. It's not, you know, excessive or overbuilt in any way. It's built rugged enough, really. So now you have to keep in mind, too, that I'm using it to basically replace my Mora, honestly. So as a trail knife, you know, my Mora, I belt carry this, open carry it all the time, and totally serviceable camp utility knife. And I wanted something that I could pocket carry, similar size factor, really. Okay, but I wanted it to be a folder so I could legally conceal carry it in California. Okay, and it has totally filled that role very, very nicely. Okay, so 135 bucks, 140 bucks, Amazon.com. I guess the question is, you know, is how close does it get to like the more expensive USA-made Formax? And to that, I really don't know. This is pretty much as far up the durability scale as I really see a need for in terms of a folding pocket knife. Really, if I need something more robust and durable than this, then I'm going to go to, you know, a more capable fixed blade. Even a cheap one, a budget cheap one like this here, you know, is much better in that regard. So let's see. It's a partial flat grind. Okay, with a nice beveled clip point. Out of box, like all cold steel knives, it was razor sharp, and I've had no problems maintaining a really fine, keen edge on this knife, just using my ceramic rods. No problem at all. So I was a little worried about the CPM S35VN being too hard and too difficult to maintain an edge on, but that has not been the case at all. So the Demco Triad Lock, kind of clunky, clangy and clunky a little bit, but once it's locked, it is really solid and really stable. So no problems there at all. Pocket clip is really nice, really solid, really nice, and that's what I want. Okay, so it tears up my jeans or my pants a little bit. I don't really care. I'd rather have something that's really locked in place and really solid in my pocket, and I don't have to worry about it falling out. Okay. So as an active use EDC, that's thumbs up for me. I wish it were a little bit deeper carry. I don't really have any, I'm not sure why, but it sticks out a bit far for my taste. I kind of wish this were a loop over, arch over clip design that I could better conceal in my pocket. But okay, it is what it is. I don't really mind that too much at all. So the 90-degree spine is really sharp, and it's an excellent edge to strike a ferro rod. No problems there. Very, very easy to do with that. Gets a little sooty and a little dirty, and just wipe it off, no problems. So I really like the grip texture on the handle. Okay, it's great for damp, wet conditions. With or without gloves, the handle is big enough for a full, firm grip on. No problems there at all. I did tighten the pivot screw a little bit. You know, that's, you know, because I happen to like a fairly tight pivot. That's just my preference for that. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Please feel free to post comments and questions down below. This has been a review of my Cold Steel SR1 camp knife.